You can hear the singing behind me. Well, these people have been in here most of the day. Not as big as they crowd as they once were earlier today, but all of them right now singing in opposition of this right to work bill. But polling has shown that there is actually a majority of support for this legislation among the public in Wisconsin. However, the business owners who spoke out today all oppose it. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald calls his right to work legislation very simple.
No person may require an employee, in order to obtain or keep their job, to either quit or stop supporting their labor organization or be forced to join or support an organization.
And Senator Fitzgerald says the public supports the measure.
Multiple polls from widely respected independent groups have shown that well over 60% of Wisconsin voters support allowing workers the freedom to decide whether to join a union.
As expected, union members voiced their opposition to the bill, saying they should not be targeted.
We do great work, we build quality, we don't ask for badger care, and we don't burden the taxpayers with our training costs. I don't understand when we became the problem.
And their employers joined them in criticizing the bill.
I picked the business model of the union company. It's what flavor I liked, and I don't think it's fair to have that freedom stripped from me.
But business lobbying groups are behind the bill, saying it will grow business expansion and relocation in Wisconsin, providing more opportunity.
It's a fact that Wisconsin has fallen behind in that right-to-work legislation. According to the regression analysis that we've done, will have a positive economic impact.
Show me what democracy looks like!
The chant was the cornerstone of protest to Act 10's public employee collective bargaining limits in 2011. But the private sector union employees here appear resigned to simply sounding off to lawmakers in the building.
And we know that this right-to-work battle is probably a losing effort.
But Steve DeRue of Stevens Point, the hundreds who came here, say simply taking this legislative defeat silently is not an option. Nathan Wada is a steam fitter from Wisconsin Rapids.
My voice and me being here is the only thing I have.
Well, we know it's out of state special interests that are pushing this bill. They don't care if you have a good job. They want more profits, and they want to do it on the backs of the workers.
Unions help build this country.
Madison Firefighters Union President Malin Mitchell maintains the protest is part of a global pushback to the marginalization of unions from Florida to Canada. And there were no apparent clashes between the approximately 2,000 protesters who spent much of this day either on the grounds or inside the Capitol and police. And labor leaders today stressed there may be as much of a benefit in educating people about union membership as there is with the actual protests. Reporting live from the state capitol, Tony Galley, 27 News.
State Police, Capitol Police, DNR officers all arriving downtown on a couple of buses right away this morning. They also had a bomb-sniffing dog go through the hearing room before the hearing began.
The bottom line is that to move our state forward, Wisconsin needs a modern economy. The status quo has served us well in the past, but in order to see our economy continue to compete at a global level, we cannot remain mired in the antiquated system.
He was followed by researchers, union members and leaders, businesses and business groups, all sharing what right to work means to them.
But what the most rigorous research shows is that all other things being equal, the impact of adopting a right-to-work law in 2015 is to lower wages by about 3% for both union and non-union workers across the state.
Under current law in Wisconsin, employees who never requested union representation can be forced to accept a union as their exclusive monopoly bargaining agent and be forced to work within the union's monopoly negotiated contract.
The government is going to force my union to provide benefits and services to employees that don't pay. How is that fair? Why should somebody get the same benefits as me and not have to pay their dues? That's just wrong.
In all, more than 150 people signed up to testify. Many won't be able to when the hearing ends at 7 p.m. Those who did tried to leave the committee with their best arguments.
If you don't support right to work, you stand for the proposition that workers should be fired for not wanting to pay dues to a union. And, you know, we just have a fundamental
disagreement about whether that's the right policy for Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin, you can be successful owning a union company, and you can be successful owning a non-union company. I picked the business model of the union company. It's what flavor I liked, and I don't think it's fair to have that freedom stripped from me.
Well, I think the proof's in the pudding. If you look at our neighbors in Indiana and in Michigan, some of those same complaints were made 4 years ago, and instead you see strong economies, comebacks in both Michigan and Indiana that have gone through this process just a few short years ago.
It's kind of sad that we have to be here, that, you know, everything we've heard about our governor, let's move forward, let's move forward. This is not moving forward.
Act 10 was like the first piece of the demise of, you know, the voice of the people, and the right to work is just going to be another segment to continue that downward spiral.
Around 2,000 people gathered in and outside of the Capitol to protest against Governor Walker's legislation. It's a potential reality for Patrick Visor, who used to work in a right-to-work environment. He knows firsthand the possible impacts to come.
Two members standing side by side. One is a freeloader, getting all his union benefits for free, the other one paying for it. It creates dissension between the workers, and then the company has to deal with it, and it hurts production.
A divide both union and non-union workers fear. If passed, it will threaten the fabric of the middle class.
This goes through, it's going to deteriorate our benefits and our wages and our middle class lifestyle that we're used to here in Wisconsin. And it's not going to help the middle class or anything that we stand for.